Why, hello, hi, it is me, it is I. Small time here, very internet and akastraha and back hello, yella. I'm here to talk about the pretties not winning. The pretties win for the most part, until they don't. The pretties sometimes overplay their pretty. The pretties never know when to leave. Sometimes the pretties get in over their head. The pretties do overplay their pretty sometimes, don't they? Here's the thing. If you are a young, attractive woman, and no, it's not a debate. I'm talking attractive as in Mihlali, because we're actually going to talk about Mihlali and the Arch Emeritus, the late Desmond Tutu's. What is this girl's name? Is her name Natasha? The one who was an actress. Was she on Skin Somewhere? Was she? Oh, girl, I don't know. Her name is Natasha. Natasha was married to. Does he go by? Is he Lorch or? I don't care. I don't watch soccer. Boys are disgusting. Honestly, like. I don't know why he's a thing. I think girls find him hot or something. Natasha had a baby with this person that she was involved with. She's not posting. There's two conversations I want to have with you guys right now, actually, right? The pretties overplaying their hand, but also the reaction of the girl that doesn't have pretty privilege to when we learn that something, trigger warning, but like, abuse may have been cause for the breakup or whatever. Our reaction whenever we hear things like that, and where that comes from, and how we can work through that so that we don't show up as like vile and disgusting. That's what I really want to talk about, right? Porsha Williams is another one. Y'all seen Porsha's going outside. See how Liz knew Porsha's gonna go out like that though. And here's the thing, I'm team, because I'm hearing this conversation everywhere. I actually do believe Porsha knew Simon was who he was, or to a degree knew that who he's posing as isn't who he is, and that there's more to this. She knew. How did we all know? Underneath, somebody in Atlanta must have said to her. Porsha Williams, by the way, even if you don't watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, you saw this when it trended, because it trended hard. She started dating her co-star's ex-husband whilst they were separated or whatever it is, married him and everything so that she could live lavish. Porsha, who has been able to secure her own money at this point, right? When we met her on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she's married to Cordell, who was a former football player, American football, and they divorced by the second season or whatever the issue was. At the reunion, people, I hate this part of this conversation, but Cordell's sexuality is always brought into question. And at the reunion, when it was brought up again, people were talking about how, they're saying she was a beard. And she says, because the thing about Porsha is she knows how to put her foot in it. She had said at that reunion that she was willing to look the other way on something, sort of half confirming this. And it's a bit disgusting because it's bordering on outing somebody. But the point that I'm trying to make here is this is a girl who from jump, her mom is responsible for why she behaves and things like this, right? If you've seen their dynamic, you know what I'm talking about. This is a girl who from jump has been encouraged to use her pretty in order to elevate herself in life, to elevate her economic circumstances, which she didn't need to. She comes from a family that's done okay, right? But she was raised by a woman who has clearly nudged her there. You're pretty. A man is going to come take care of you. So much so that she managed to build herself up after Cordell, right? Because she's pretty. So a lot of you think she's wonderful and you support her, even though she's vile, dumb, and disgusting. For the most part, you all think she's so wonderful. She managed to build herself up, right? And have her own stuff, have multiple streams of revenue. She was on like a radio show, I think Dish Nation or something that it's called on that side of the world. She had the Real Housewives of Atlanta thing coming in. She had like stuff happen. Clearly this person, she's like the hair company and stuff, because she'll wear like 50,000 bundles at a time, and you girls love that look, right? Oh my God, you're mean, right? Whatever. But she managed to do all of that. And even when she was at a point where she was supposed to realize that I can actually take care of myself. I don't need Cordell. I don't need a man to come. No. The programming was so deep from her mom that she let go of all those jobs when Simon dangled a more lavish life that she couldn't give herself. Mind you, her life was lavish enough, right? But I guess she wanted the private jets and she wanted this and she wanted that, and he came with that. She let go of all of the security that she had been able to like create for herself in order to latch herself onto this man who was shaky from jump. Why are you guys doing that? Why are you guys doing that? Mihlali builds up a brand, builds up a good, a strong influencer brand within the beauty space. Literally the biggest influencer that we've produced or that has come out of South Africa, right? Her numbers are insane on social media. Pretty girl. For the most part, she was able to have like a clean image, and then she throws that away for somebody's husband. I personally don't care about people's marriages when people don't care about their own marriages. So my argument is never coming from a place of, oh, that's somebody's husband. Bitch, somebody's husband should have known he's somebody's husband. I don't care about that. My chat is, and it's not like she made a mistake that a lot of us didn't make at that age where we know better, but we are just not making the right decisions. But she's under a microscope, right? She's under a lens like that magnifies, and we're all watching. She couldn't afford to make that mistake. And there's a sheen that's come off a little bit. Being with that man, being with Leroy has tainted her. She saw that she could amass wealth for herself by herself. Another one who doesn't come from a disadvantaged background, right? When we met Mihlali, I was one of the early people who followed her, right? When we met her, she already had a car. I think her grandmother had bought her that car, and she was in her first year of college or whatever. She's at a private institution. I can't remember what it was. If you remember her earlier vlogs, she was already driving. This wasn't some girl from some village somewhere where she doesn't know nice things. But when you are told that you're pretty is supposed to get you a man, you don't even have it in you to stop and realize that what they said was, in case you can't get these things for yourself, you can always get them through marriage and by way of a man. If it's not marriage, just partnership with a man. You tarnished your good brand. And mind you, like, you are your core audience is women, and in that like group of women, they're women who are married, who looked at how she was moving around that situation with Mary Jane and whatever, her defense of the situation. The optics didn't look good. Even if you started dating him when they were separated, the optics just didn't look good. You know, I didn't give a shit about that fucking marriage, right? When a man is willing to do that to somebody he had been head over heels in love with at some point, as Leroy did to Mary Jane, as somebody who multiplied him, birthed him children, you must stop and ask yourself, if he's doing that to her, she's also pretty just like me. If you're Mihlali, these are the questions you should have been asking. What's so special about me that I don't think he's gonna turn around and do this to me? The truth of the matter is, pretty wears off like anything else. The novelty of it anyway wears off. You stay pretty by all intents and purposes, but when you are not in the right hands, you will be left to sit on the dust and on the shelf and gather dust, like any other cute, pretty trinket that he had got earlier and he loved and adored and looked at every day and would buff it out and make it shiny. At some point, there's a shiny or something, right? Your presence wears off. He has you now. There's no wooing. There's no need to try and keep you, to try and anything. And all of that after you have like dragged your reputation up and down South Africa in defense of wanting to be with this person. And there's nothing for her to do now, but they're lessons for the younger girls to learn. Natasha got with the soccer player. I don't know what the fuck she expected from a soccer player. Why do you guys do that? I had a friend who And she was also, she's also a pretty girl. Maybe it must be a pretty girl thing. I don't get it. You bitches really do get it in your head that you're the exception, don't you? You do. You really do believe that your pretty is coming to, is gonna save you. It's gonna go different for you, right? It's not. It's not, honey. Time and time again, it's been proven. It's actually gonna pan out just the same. You're not special. To your mom, maybe. To these fucking men, you're not. I don't know what to tell you. Natasha's here. She broke up with this whatever the fuck he is. What? Lorch person. This guy that she was dating. This man had allegedly been accused of putting hands on his baby mama. Right before she made a baby for him and was with him. It's alleged that she was part of the people defending him when she had just got with him. The other problem we do is not believing the women who came before us, because they're so jealous. Because who wouldn't be jealous of you? You're Natasha. And who wouldn't be jealous of you? You're so pretty. And who wouldn't be jealous of you? You got the soccer player. Like, first of all, women who date DJs and soccer players and like, what's supposed to happen? What was supposed to happen there exactly? Was it going to be different for you? I don't feel bad for women who date these people in these spaces and then turn up shocked when like the same story repeats itself of like, oh, this person was cheating. Of course he was fucking cheating. Of course he was. Right? But anyway, she's alleging physical, or she's hinting at possible things like, you know, little hints of abuse, dropping nuggets, being annoying basically on the internet, you know, and seeking attention and whatever. And I really hope and want her to find healing in that regard, but I want us to take heed in terms of not believing the women who've come before us, because we think it's our turn and we're going to be so special. We must cut that shit out. We really must. Right? And the other thing is that when this happens, those of us who don't typically get chose, we must refrain from saying things like, oh well, or what, nobody deserves abuse. All we can say is what I'm saying now is, hey girls who haven't experienced this yet, do you see how this goes? Avoid this. Work and try by all means to avoid not listening to the woman before you, thinking that you're special and it's going to be different for you. Try to listen to the other women, right? Try to have a discernment about you and stop thinking everybody is just so fucking jealous of you because you're so pretty and you know so much. Natasha's annoying me, to be like honest. Just say it, girl. Just say this happened to me and it's okay. We'll be there for you. We understand that you did what you did at the time. You were young and foolish and you thought it was going to be different, but we'll be there for you. We will. We actually will. I know I always say, oh my god, but no, like I have a soft spot. Like I'll be there for the bitches in like, you know, virtual be there. But I'm having this conversation basically to drive home that like prettiness is not gonna save you from the stuff that we deal with as average looking women and below average and less desirable than you and all of that. It's actually not. It's not. It may come later, but it's coming. And it's a kick to the ego with you guys, I've realized, because you just never thought, you know, it wasn't supposed to happen to you. That's not the teaching that you get. We realize early on, because we see all around us the women who look like us get the short end of the stick. But like, because our pretty women also lie from embarrassment, from that ego being bruised, maybe that's why you guys haven't noticed that the pretty women have actually not been winning all this time. Because a lot of them lie, right? You guys go from buying yourselves flowers to when you break up with a man saying, oh, we're still friends. How the fuck, sorry? Let me talk to the women who look like me for a second in the context of this conversation. There's a glee that you all seem to have in expressing also righteousness, right? When when a Mihlali finds herself in a situation where a Leroy does what he does, Natasha finding in herself in this situation, a Porsha finding herself where you're like, it feels like, ha, because you don't get chose at all, right? And so when they get done in, like you are constantly being done in and stuff, you gloat about it, and it's a moment for you to feel like now you get to feel what it's like to be on the bottom, and there's a tone around it, and I need us to not be those people, because it's not a win for anybody when we get nothing from that situation. Then the righteousness of that's what you get from doing this to another woman and doing this to another marriage. The truth of the matter is you're just like me, but you can't say it. You also don't care about that fucking marriage because it's not yours. Again, the people in it also didn't care about it, so it's not your job to care about it. You don't care about that marriage as well. You are just sick and tired of feeling like the pretties get away with murder, right? You are at the end of experiencing that, of not having pretty privilege, right? And also understanding that these women have more avenue to rebuild and change their position than you do. These women will still have a slew of men lined up, because it's about men. That's the real problem, where I think we need to talk about, when we always talk about pretty privileges, women and stuff, it's always centered around men. We fail to think of all the ways in which it harms us as women who aren't, or women in particular. I don't care about men's issues, but people in general, but women in particular, we fail to realize in all the many little ways that pretty privilege harms us, right? Especially because it's rooted in white supremacy. Like, its roots are very much there, because when we think of what we define as pretty, come on now, right? Listen to the people come on now, okay? Right? All right? You see where I'm going with this, right? It's the colorism issue. It's all matter the features. It's the hair shit. It's the weight stuff. It's always some shit that is like moving as far away as you can move from blackness. We fail to engage the conversation of how much this really harms us, how it impedes growth in spaces that actually matter, like work opportunities, right? People just being able to assist you in public spaces, assumptions that people make about you when you walk in, like, I'm fat, I must be lazy, we fail to have that broader conversation because we are so focused on men and we're so male-centered that when these things happen to these women and they get done in the way they get done in, we want to celebrate, and we want to mask our celebration as righteous and make like it's because we just love the institution of marriage and we think what she did was so wrong. But no, that's not why. It's that anger that bubbles under, that stays there, where you know that this person is gonna get out of this. They have 9 lives and you don't, and it stinks. It fucking stinks. It reeks and it hurts. I can say this. I look like you. I know I don't have enough room to make the kind of mistakes that Mihlali made in the last couple of years. I can't look like this, date the way she's just done with this man, and then come out in public and continue with my career, barely lose followers, right? I don't have the same kind of sway. I don't have the currency that she has. I can't buy myself redemption like she can with that face. And it sucks. It sucks. And if you don't say things like that and check yourself, and it's not to put yourself down or say that you aren't as pretty, because you are, but according to the system that they're using, they want to convince us constantly that we're not, and they treat us as such. We can't run away from that. We cannot, but we can stop it from turning us into hateful, better women who, when a Natasha says this thing may have happened to me, we're like, Sweeney, whatever, girl. Killing that empath in us, where we understand that these are young women, they made their mistakes, they thought they were pretty and they pretty could buy them this and that, and they're now coming out of it realizing that actually I was wrong, right? Let's not turn into something that we don't recognize. Let's not allow the privilege we don't have to turn us hateful and make us into something that we aren't at our core, and have us do it under the guise of right and wrong and I just believe, because you're lying.